Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be on this planet Earth. My name is Anthony Altman, and today is Monday, the 4th of September 2023. I still thought it was yesterday. The title of this video is Every Problem, Challenge or Issue is Merely an Opportunity. Now this is a big statement, and I must say to you that at my age, having been through just about every possible challenge, stress, problem, issue that could possibly be presented to any one single person, what I'm about to share with you is my absolute subject experience, having learned this lesson from life itself. I've had a lot of challenges. And somehow or other, I found the strength within me to keep going. And then I learned the lesson that these challenges, these stressful situations and circumstances, the issues, all of them, were either of my creation or I co-created that with somebody else. And in both instances, it was by my willful choice. I chose everything, those situations, the people I had those circumstances with, I chose it all. So the first lesson here is to take responsibility for your thoughts, your words, your actions, and your choices, and each and every experience that you have in life, even though we do have a tendency to blame others, or blame the tools, or it was wet, or it was too hot, or whatever the reason. When we point at anything outside of us as being the culpable party, like so. Have a look at your hand. There are 3 fingers pointing back at yourself. And those fingers, those 3 fingers, are telling you, look to yourself. Look to yourself to find the cause and the solution. The next lesson I learned was many years ago when I was active in the Transcendental Meditation movement, and I spent quite a bit of time with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi. And he was very apt to describe to us the way most human beings deal with problems, issues. And most people remain on the level of the problem. And he would give a very good example, which I'm going to share with you. You come home, you have a beautiful tree in your garden, and one day the tree has got all blotchy leaves. The leaves are not looking very good. The tree is not well, it's ill. And this ill tree is synonymous, analogous to the way we deal with all other problems, most of us. So we run to the pharmacy, metaphorically speaking, and we buy several million Band-Aids, plasters, with the intention of putting a band-aid on each leaf. Well, needless to say that the tree dies. Maharishi says the wise farmer would realize that something wrong with the plant at the root. So feed the root, give the root water, perhaps some organic fertilizer. And when you deal with the root, the tree will take care of itself. And this is generally how we are to look at our issues. So the question is, what could the root cause be of our issues? And this is where we encounter some difficulty, because most people do not want to look inside their cupboard of skeletons and look at themselves subjectively to see all the good, the bad and the ugly and do something about it. Most people keep the cupboard door closed. Oh, isn't everything lovely? Oh yes, everything's wonderful. Let's have another beer. Let's have some pot, marijuana or whatever. Oh yeah, life is wonderful. Until we get to the end of our life, and then we realize our mistake. And then, just before death, the most often said phrase, more or less, is, if only. So if we take that if only phrase and we apply it now while we still are able bodies to resolve our issues, then let's look at our issues. Now, very often our own issues are in the subconscious mind, because we've got learned beliefs, learned patterns of behavior and learned programming, and all this is lodged in the huge filing cabinet, so to speak, of the subconscious mind. And because it's unconscious, we don't know what they are. And when we meet circumstances that push our buttons, that trigger us into some kind of emotional reaction, if we are wise enough, we will say, oh, this is interesting. But most people, they don't see it that way. The next lesson is that we may not be able to change decisions that have been made so readily, or let me put it another way. We may have made a decision and then there is a consequence to the decision. We may not be able to change the consequence, even though we may change our minds and make a different choice. The previous choice still provides us with a consequence. And so we are capable of doing one or two things: reacting or just acting. Most of us, myself included in the old days, reacted. We reacted poorly, made poor decisions again and again, because the consequences caused us to overreact, underreact, not react at all, not act, not do anything. Whatever it is some form of reaction. And as I got wiser, I realized that it is best to act. So we have a problem. How do we fix the problem? Without ego, without emotion, looking at it clearly, objectively. And if we want to look at it subjectively, we look at it from the level of the higher self and not the lower self. Because the lower self is where the dysfunctional ego lives, and all the various other consequences to our learned beliefs, learned patterns of behavior and learned programmings that are not for our highest good, and the idea is to change those. Another thing that I learned is that if I cannot change the learned beliefs, patterns of behavior and programming, then it would be wise to seek the help of a hypnotherapist or a neuro-linguistic programmer or an NLP, same thing, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, NLP practitioner. Or find somebody who can help teach you how to do emotional freedom technique, otherwise known as EFT or tapping. Out of these three modalities, you will be able to help change your learned beliefs, learned patterns of behavior, and learned programming, and change them from life-damaging to life-supporting. So when you have an issue, rather than get submerged and overwhelmed by the issue, realize that this is an opportunity for you to learn how to find the solution. It may also be life's method of testing you. And if you fail the test, you will just keep getting the same test. And when you pass the test, then you don't need to have those situations anymore. The opportunity is to be able to take the high road, to let go of previous dysfunction, previous expectations, the way the ego would operate, a dysfunctional ego, and to operate more in line with what your higher self would do. A higher perspective. Take the high road. Look at the situation and say, well, this is what it is. I can rant and rave and complain and what have you. It's not going to solve it. And then I can just look at it and say, okay, let's find the solution. Let's be patient. Let's just go with it. Go with it. I've had many, many such situations over this past, well, my whole lifetime, but especially this year. My computer died. I had to get a new computer. And from Windows 10, I had to have Windows 11. That was a disaster. Well, not a disaster, but it was just, everything went wrong. My speakers wouldn't work. My microphone wouldn't work. This wouldn't work. This wouldn't work. I had trouble with my website being built. There was all sorts of issues and other issues and other issues. And it got me stressed. I got a little bummed out, as they say. But then I kept coming back and say, look, this is what it is. Keep going. Find the solution. Find the solution. And with my speakers, today the solution was resolved after days, maybe a week or so of very stressful circumstances. They're now fixed. And this is what prompted me to make this video, especially at this time with 7 planets in retrograde, including Mercury, and with the astrological influences, the solar flares from the sun, the coronal mass ejections from the sun, the gamma rays from the center of the galaxy, and our galaxy moving through the photon torus belt. We're all being pushed with our backs to the wall. And many of us are feeling very, very stressed. So this is the opportunity. Hopefully you'll see this video and you will change your approach, change your attitude. And I trust that you will. In retrospect, everything is soluble, even though it may not seem so at the time. Everything has a solution. It is just up to us to find it. And we find it much more easily with a calm approach, looking for a solution rather than getting stressed out. I hope this is of some help to you. And I have my website address at the below in the comments. If you wish to have a look at my website and see what books, articles, and videos I have that may be of help to you, please go there. If you have any desire to communicate with me, on the contact page of my website, send me a message. I wish you well. This is a tough time, but we can get through it if we choose to. Thank you for listening. Bye for now.